everyone, this is Mito Oriel here, back again with Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. As we've come last time to this game, we explored the aftermath of Zodiark, and we started to learn what the effects were of his death. Zodiark died in a battle against myself, and where we took the time to learn what it is that happened now that Zodiark is dead. We discovered that there's three types of ether currents running about Aetheris, which is the name of the planet that we are on through most of the game. Aetheris has three types of currents. It has ones that go through the lands and the seas, ones that go through the sky, like air, and there's one that goes that they didn't know about, one that encircles the entire planet, which is celestial ether currents. And they surmise that that there's going to be a cataclysm, an apocalypse that's going to ensue now that Zodiark is dead. Namely, Zodiark was a primal that was created to stop the cataclysm of old in the past. What happened in the past, according to the Watcher, is that at some point the ether currents started to wither and die. And in the places where there's the most concentrated ether, where land, air, and stars, celestial currents, would pinpoint together, those would be the strongest ones. But the ones where there was the least amount of ether currents, that's where the fester started to grow, where the apocalypse began to start, and then it spread about like wildfire, very rapidly, quickly, and ferociously. And we are now in Bestways Burrows, which is a building adjacent to where the Watcher was, in order to examine what are the options we could take to save the people of Aetheris. One such discovery that we came upon is that the moon that we're on is a construct of Vana. This woman named Vana, who constructed the moon to be a starship, a spaceship of sorts, to get all the people onto the moon. Should Aetheris wither and die for whatever reason, get them onto the moon and get them to find a new place, a new planet to live on. So that's one of our options. We don't know any other options for now, but this is what we're doing, is that we're now examining what these Loporrits have done in order to prepare for people's arrival to the moon. So, we examined things such as their food and their clothing. Those were two things that we examined, and it came with less than stellar results. It wasn't the most, the best quality, we'll say. They weren't prepared to accommodate for people like us. Namely, what we're suspecting, given the instructions that they've received, is that the people they're in contact with is Charlene people, because Charlene people don't care too much when it comes to things like the taste of food or the type of clothes that they wear. It doesn't really matter to them. What matters to them is whatever keeps them awake alert to do their studies. They and yeah, that's not something that pretty much every other nation upholds to such a high degree. Most people like to have food that tastes good. Many people like to have different types of clothing that suits their tastes, their styles, and Charlene doesn't really care about those things. So, we all took a break from following Living Way, which is the head of Best Way's Borough, to go and explore the place ourselves, see what we can find ourselves. And that's when I came across this Loprit here named Growing Way. And Growing Way, he is wanting to show me around some places, give me a tour that, from his own perspective, things that he wanted to show, and I'm just following along. And here we are. So with that, let's get into the story. It may not seem like it, but we've been planning for this far longer than I care to admit. Each time we woke up, we'd have long discussions about how to save as many of you as we can. Felt like everyone had an opinion on this or that. Oh, my bad, let me just pull that up. But one thing we all agreed upon was that the people of Atheris wouldn't take action to save themselves until it was far too late. That's why we're striving to make the moon a vibrant, magical place they'd hop on at the chance to visit, rather than waiting for the flames of oblivion to get them off their tails and force them to accept our invitation. The residential quarters may not be up to the necessary standards just yet, but there are plenty of other places worth seeing. You've already had a look around the Curatorium, but wait until you see what's waiting for you at the east end of the borough. Follow me? The east end of the borough. So we've explored the west wing, but now we're going to the east wing. Good, you're here. Through this door is the greatest Endsvale. It was named as such because it's the Vale to end all vales, the most beautiful forest you'll ever see. We understand the people of Atheris enjoy taking leisurely walks through natural spaces and the like, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. How about we start with a nice stroll to the fountain? This way. I was supposed to start streaming earlier today, but I took the time to watch the new Nintendo Direct that came out today, and I will say it was a pretty good. Excuse me. It was a pretty good Direct. There was quite a few good games that they announced and updates on ones that they already announced. But if I'm to name ones that stood out the most for me, it was the Chrono Cross port that they're doing for the Switch. That's going to be like an all-in-one bundle to have everything that wasn't included in the original game release on the PlayStation. And there's going to be another game that is coming to the West that never released outside of the West, which is, according to them, Live Alive. That game I am interested in as well. It was a game I have seen on the internet for a good while, and I've heard nothing but praise for Live Alive. So I'm going to see like when it releases eventually, because it is getting a remake, so to speak, remaster, with the style akin to Octopath Traveler and Dragon Quest III, which is the HD 2D style, which is also what Triangle Strategy is doing. This is like a Square Enix new engine to remake old games, which is HD 2D. It looked great on Octopath Traveler, and I'm looking forward to how it will look on these other games. I'll continue talking after I finish with this dialogue here. So, what do you think of the forest? Isn't it positively pleasant? Simply sublime? Forest? These are trees? Are these trees? Couldn't see the forest or the trees. You're pulling my tail. You're in the forest right now. Building this place was a challenge, let me tell you. Since we were born here, we've never seen trees in person before, let alone a forest. The information sent by our collaborators was quite enlightening, but after much deliberation, we decided to use crystalline constructs in place of living trees. And thanks to our atmospheric circulation system, this place produces air as clean as that you would find in a forest on Etheris. The fountain here behind us, powered by the rather large crystal adorning its top, plays a vital role in supplying us with fresh water. Much time and effort was spent making it the most spherical of spheres, and I dare say the unparalleled roundness speaks for itself. I see corners. What are you talking about? There's like a corner right there under the ring. Like it is far from the roundness of spheres. Got like a polygon. I enjoy nothing more than a nice long stretch and a spot of relaxation whenever I come up here. You look like you could use a stretch yourself. I don't, but sure. There. That's the spirit. I feel more relaxed simply watching you. A sight worth the many years spent building this place. If it's not too much to ask, it's always been a dream of mine to take a walk through this forest with someone from Etheris. Could we maybe... You will? Oh, it will be my Oh, be still, my quivering whiskers. You are so small compared to me. You are like almost as small as Porom here. I was thinking, Lorelei, that I could be more helpful to you by teaching you a little about the moon and what it is that we do. When we were first created, the moon's sole purpose was to hold Zodiark, and there was absolutely nothing to be found here. Eventually, Heidelin gave us our first task: furnish the moon with propulsion systems capable of facilitating travel to other stars. It sounds impressive, and I suppose in some respects it is, but it was only possible thanks to the knowledge Heidelin shared with us. We also had a lot of time to get it done. 6,000 years, give or take. But anyway, let's keep going. So these loppers are at least 6,000 years old. Nothing like a relaxing stroll to forget one's worries, eh? What? No, I'm not sure what it is you do with crystals on Atheris, but we don't eat them. And certainly not this one. It's possessed of all 6 elements: wind, lightning, fire, earth, ice, and water. We use crystals like these to maintain the moon's elemental equilibrium. It's worth mentioning, though, that because of Hydaelyn's influence, being the embodiment of tranquility and stasis and all, manipulating the elements here is different than it might be on Atheris. A conjuring of fire would sooner dry your clothes than singe them, for example. Put simply, the etheric conditions are ill-suited to growth, which is why the surface is mostly barren. Of course, this was all necessary to keep the raging energies of Zodiark in check. Oh. It does look quite edible, I'm not gonna lie. This may come as a surprise, but we didn't begin building these habitable areas until after the propulsion systems were ready. Considering how long it took, I wish we'd started sooner. Who would have thought we'd need 4,000 years to make all this? It certainly wasn't work you dare rush either. We had to create infrastructure and countless supporting systems, some of which wouldn't be operational until hundreds of years later. And then there was that brief period where our productivity came to a screeching halt, when that bizarre red satellite was sent up from Atheris, the Alligans mischief, I think. We thought maybe some new nefarious actor was colluding with Zodiark. All we could do was stand by and brace ourselves for the worst. I can't tell you how relieved we were when Hydaelyn informed us of his destruction. Oh yes, it was much joyous humming that day. Speaking of 1.0, Dalamud. Say, do you notice anything peculiar about the treetops? I mean, apart from the fact that they're massive crystals and not trees. I'll give you a hint. It's the golden rains emanating from the glowing spheres. Right there. Along with the devices fixed near the ceiling, they fulfill a role similar to our sun, and do so better even. The sun and similar celestial objects in the great expanse radiate energy that is harmful to your bodies. These rains shield you from that energy while allowing you to bathe in the perfect amount of sunlight, or rather a close approximation of it. Pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? Oh, and if you look closely, you'll see different types of trees have ever so slightly different curvature. Yes, indeed, the forest truly is the greatest. Yeah, there is different curvatures, slightly. Kinda. Anyways. So, yeah. Another dialogue. Well, something else I want to tell you about. Oh, right. The propulsion systems and habitat facilities were completed around 2,000 years ago. And with that, the most important features were fit for purpose. Which was all well and good, except we still knew absolutely nothing about the present-day people of Atheris. Why not go and visit Atheris yourself, you might ask? Strictly forbidden. Where our technologies or knowledge of the moon's true purpose exploited for evil ends, the results could be disastrous. Then there were a few more rejoinings, and it became increasingly difficult to converse with Hydaelyn. Fearful we might lose the ability to communicate with her, we beseeched her to find people on Atheris we could trust to help. We were quite fortunate everything worked out as it did. Let me get some water here because I'm doing a wall of text here. With the exception of routine inspections and maintenance, we remained asleep and waited, hopeful Hydralyn would find someone who would help us. Eventually she did, and though her power was waning, we were able to speak to them directly for a short while. We shared with them everything we could, including our knowledge of the heavens and a means to travel here to the moon. They certainly didn't waste any time with what we taught them. No more than a few years after that, our collaborators found a means to convey messages and supply to us from down below. With all the letters, books, and other resources they sent, we learned enough to start making more meaningful changes to the moon. And now you're here, hopefully enjoying yourself as much as I am. I knew you would like Grace Endsvale. I knew it. Thank you again for coming here, by the way. I know it was just a walk through the forest, but it meant a lot to me. There you are. I take it you've already received the Grand Tour. A shame we missed it. Growing Way, I've been looking all over for you. Oh, is this about the teleporter to the residential area? No, never mind that. We have more pressing matters at hand. I'll be calling an emergency meeting shortly, and your attendance is required. Really? I can't imagine why you'd need me there, but if you insist. We won't be away long, so you all are more than welcome to continue looking about the burrow. Now, come along, Growing Way. Before we arrived, you seemed to be in the midst of a rousing conversation with your guide. Did you learn anything of import? They spent 12,000 years preparing for this. With the appointed hour fast approaching, I can certainly understand their restlessness, but still, it remains to be seen if the people can be persuaded to evacuate when there are yet no signs of the final days. What's more, the technology of this place defies imagination. I doubt there are many who would readily come to terms with living in such surroundings. Whoever these collaborators are, unless they are possessed with the world's most charming personalities, or a means to forcibly evacuate people, they will meet with a great deal of resistance. Indeed, even if faced with annihilation, the decision to forsake all one knows cannot be made lightly. Sorry. Forgive me, my friends, but I must beg your leave. There is another matter which yet begs for my attention. Of course, I can accompany you if you like. Nay, that will not be necessary, if you will excuse me. Just a second, I just need to mute my mic real quick. Okay. 'Tis clear now that difficult decisions lie ahead of us. Preparation for the evacuation of Atheris is indeed crucial, but I am not yet willing to forsake our world and its reflections, and I trust I am not alone in my reticence. Did Urianger seem strange to you? More so than usual, I mean. I know he has a penchant for keeping his own counsel, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. Would you go and see if he's alright? Stola and I will remain here and see what else we can learn about the final days. If you hurry, perhaps you can catch up to him. Alright, so let's make our way to Urianger. So as I was saying before, I am looking forward to Live Alive from the Direct. I'm looking forward to the... What I mentioned before? There was Live Alive, there was the Chrono Cross. Yeah, Chrono Cross was another one. Triangle Strategy, I'm a bit more on. It's got a kind of bad name. They did say tentative title, but it's not really a tentative title. That's actually gonna be the name of the game. And it is not a good game. I'm not gonna lie. Like people are who see that the box name Triangle Strategy aren't really gonna be convinced. Like, yeah, boy, that's my game. That Triangle Strategy. I'm picking that up day one. It's not a catchy name at all. Whereas you have games like Chrono Cross, it has a bit more of a snappy name to it. Like, it sounds interesting. There's Urianger walking up the slopes. He's fast when I'm not looking at him, but then he's slow when I am looking. Like, I'm needing a mount to catch up to this fella. It's like the second I run away, he's gone flash on me. Just zooming. Another game I'm looking forward to when it comes to that Direct is Splatoon 3. That's not news, like actual news. I am also looking forward to... This is actual news. Nintendo is finally doing something with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They are finally adding new tracks. New race tracks to go on. It's gonna be 6 waves of 6 tracks in each wave. So it will be something like 48 tracks. Something like that. Don't mind me, Urianger. I'm just walking. I'm just gonna hide behind this rock. You do not see me. But yeah, as far as I've been told from the Direct, the tracks are going to be tracks of old games, including Mario Kart Tour. So, lots of retro stages to look forward to. some that they have mentioned that are being added is what was it? Behind the rock. Some things that they didn't mention for tracks coming is wait here. Tracks like Coconut Mall, Delfino Plaza, Toad Circuit, or was it Mario Circuit? DS, Choco Mountain from N64, and things of the like. Oh, and Tokyo Tour. Those are just some of the stages mentioned for the first wave coming out in March.
Thine arrival is timely as ever. Thou didst chance to overhear my conversation with Living Way, I presume? Tend to move in shadow. Nevertheless, I have been asked to do that and more yet again. Is it so plain that these strangers could intuit it at a glance? My capacity for silence and secrecy? And duplicity. When Grahatir did contrive to deliver the first at the price of his own life, I was complicit in the scheme. A sacrifice averted for a mercy. Would that I could say the same for Minfilia. One life for one world. And by that bloody bargain brokered by my hand were the scions robbed of a dear comrade, and Flamine her beloved daughter. Two souls, whose selflessness was beyond measure, whose resolve was unshakable. They would not be moved even had I thought to protest. But protest I did not. Far from it. I pushed them forward. No effort did I make to seek out alternatives, ones that would not demand such terrible costs. That resignation weigheth heavy on my mind, as does the memory of another lost to mine inaction. Dearest Moonbringer, who did face death unflinching, that we might secure a means to bring low the Ascians. In her hour of need, I did naught. Dutiful disciple of Louisoix, ever looking to the greater good. Had I shut mine eyes and bid her live instead, mayhap she would be with us today. Selfish wants, born of everlasting regrets. Most days I put them from my mind, but could think of naught else when asked to swallow the same bitter draught. Subterfuge and sacrifice. Mayhap the right moral choice, but one I regard with great trepidation. The calamity of Amarot was a tragedy beyond reckoning, one which must never again come to pass. Thus must we struggle, haunted by ghosts of those we have lost, clinging to those we pray we can yet save. But what of those we cannot? How do we make peace with the dreadful algebra of necessity? Sage counsel indeed. I see. Wisdom as befits a great worm. Curious that he should think thee in need of such encouragement. Strange. Scarcely can I remember when last we spoke alone, and so candidly. I thank thee. For all my supposed skill with words, I find it difficult to express such private thoughts. As for the Loporrit's proposition, I will take time and consider how to respond. 'Twould be to our mutual benefit if we could converse more openly with our aspiring caretakers. A concern I should be glad to address on the Scion's behalf. To dispense with all pretense and bare one's heart to another is a frightening thing indeed. But we cannot move forward ere we take that bold first step. A lesson I have learned many times before. And today.
What are they saying? Curse these ears and had bugger all! No matter. We've got our plans.
In truth, my reason for traveling hither was to effect a plan of my own. A plan which may pave a way forward for us all. May, I say, for there is no guarantee of success. 'Tis the reason I set out alone. That failure, should it come, would be mine to bear alone. Yet thou standst before me with proffered hand and open heart. 'Twould be remiss of me to refuse thy amity. And so I ask, wouldst thou join in my endeavor? I thank thee for accompanying me. 'Tis a simple plan, in truth. We shall not be long away from Bestwaysboro. Difficult decisions must needs be made in the coming days. But I nevertheless believe we are all of one mind in our desire to save the people of Atheris. To make clear our resolve to the Loporrits, I would offer them a gift, but its making doth require a most singular ingredient. It shouldn't be far. Here we are. Loving ways, darlings. Are you coming to me, Oski, later? No, you're not. Okay, good. Huh. An abundance of spongeoy. Excellent. I chanced to spy this aggregation when crossing Zodiac's erstwhile prison. Using a spell taught to me by the Numu, I believe these shall suffice for the gift I would fashion. The magic requires considerable concentration, however. Might I prevail thee to stand watch whilst I perform the incantation? So serve as his guard. Oh. That. nothing yet. Remember where that is. Okay, nothing else. There. Tis done. A magic ink. Every ounce of efficacious as that crafted by the new moon. Rare is the occasion I would conjure in mine own, but it's nevertheless a most useful skill. The resulting product is, admittedly, possessed of no preternatural properties, but its hue is one of mine own choosing, which I pray the Lobrits will appreciate. Lorelei, Urianger. Oh, thank goodness. I thought you'd been eaten or had perhaps fallen into a crater. Stola has been looking all over for you, Lorelei. She says she needs to speak with you about something most urgent, dire even. She was also quite clear that she wishes to speak with Lorelei alone, which means I'm afraid you must stay behind, Urianger. But worry not, it just so happens we need your help with an errand, delivering a package from the Watcher's place to Bestway's Burrow. It's quite large and heavy, perhaps even too heavy for we poor Lobrits, and we would be ever so grateful if you could lend us a hand. How about an extra pair of hands before I go and meet with you, Stola? No, that won't be necessary. Uyange's help should more than suffice. And I'm sure you don't want to risk getting on Stola's bad side by keeping her waiting. She seems prickly. Now, off with you. Worry not, Lorelei, I shan't be long. They know that I can carry those boxes. I ain't a roguey dame for nothing. I got the muscles. They're just playing with their way too obvious scheme to keep me away. Now, are you gonna come to me, Daphnia? If you come to me here, we're throwing hands. This was not. Did you just eat a monster? You did. Why would you do that? That is just not okay. And down here, Argo should still be waiting. Shouldn't be far. Yeah, there's our ghost. Oh! I don't know why I'm so sleepy. But it matters not. I am, back to my topic, I am looking forward to the new Xenoblade Chronicles that was announced at the end of the Nintendo Direct. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And according to what they said in the Direct, it's going to be something to tie together the futures of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, whatever that's supposed to mean. And I'm just here hoping that it does everything better than what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did. Because Xenoblade Chronicles 2, its main story, like the original story for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and everything involving its gameplay, wasn't good. I didn't really enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 2, if I'm gonna be honest. I did much more enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. But my favorite when it comes to gameplay is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Because it took everything that Xenoblade Chronicles had and improved it. Oh, Orlai. We thought you would be away for far longer. A dire emergency? I said no such thing. But as you are here, I would use your assistance with one small matter. Running Way, a companion of Growing Ways, apparently has much to tell us of the final days. The problem, however, is that he is determined to live up to his name, refusing to stay still long enough for us to hold a conversation. Is there anywhere he is likely to stop and rest, or perhaps there's a way to slow him down? What's the rush? I was thinking we should wait here. Maybe enjoy a cold mug of carrot juice and... No? Well, if it's really that important, you can try using these balls of moose flesh. Not to be confused with the other thing. Running other notable feature is his incessant chatter. So you'll have no trouble finding him in a crowd, and when you do, try lobbing your balls at him. Pause. Crude, but if it proves effective, he was here in the great Endsvale when last I saw him. Let's split up and find him. Alright, so I gotta chuck my balls at Running Way. Pause. And make him stop. Do I have the balls here? Nope. Okay. I just chucked my balls at whoever. What if I chuck my balls at you? No? How about you? No? My big yellow balls? Oh, well, I got Running Way. Yes, I'm Running Way. Do you mind explaining why you hit me in the face with your balls of moose flesh? I'm highly knowledgeable about the final days. That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard since I woke up. Who told you that joke? As if I've got time to look into the final days when there's so much to do before the Great Voyage. It's true that Hydaelyn did impart to us some knowledge of the event, but I know as much as any other Loporrit around here. Less, probably. I don't know why anyone would think it's funny to go around telling people I'm an expert, but they better hope I don't get my paws on them. Sorry I couldn't be of more help, but if there's nothing else, I've work to do. And I'm off. Chucking balls at rabbits for no reason. Oh, hey, a current. I couldn't find neither hide nor hair of him. How did you fare? So he knows no more than the others. Care to explain yourself, Growing Way? Well, you see, I misremembered. Yes, that's it. I misremembered. Terribly sorry about that. I'm afraid I'm drawing a blank, though. Try as I might, I can't remember who I was thinking of. On an unrelated note, what of Urianger? I assume you spoke with him earlier, but did he say did he say when he'll be returning? On his way to the Watcher's palace with Livingway. Between Growingway's sudden lapse of memory and our lack of other leads, maybe our time would be better spent lending Urianger a hand. What? Now, hold on a moment. It's all coming back to me. Yes, I remember. The information you're looking for is in the archives. Yes, that's where you'll find all sorts of useful knowledge, including that pertaining to the final days. Oh, that's my bottle. Oh, what to do? I promised Livingway I would help, but... No, I promise I'd help, so that's what I'll do. The archives are on the second floor of the main plaza, the eastern wing. Follow me. I suspect the Lawprits are up to something, but if there's aught to be learned of the final days, I think it's best we play along. For now, at least. First, let me get that ether current right there. That mighty fine looking ether current. To get to there, I have to come all the way up these stairs and go down here. There we go, ether current. Stairs. Giant stairs. At an angle. Why are these stairs at a curvature? Stairs should be flat. If it's one thing the world, the universe doesn't know how to do in this game, it's stairs. It's such a foreign and hard concept for them to do. They struggle so hard with it. It's quite remarkable, really. It's like no one's taken into account. People can just roll down these slopes. Anyways, back to my original topic. I am looking forward to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I am looking forward to Live Alive. I am looking forward to Chrono Cross. One game that I'm cautiously optimistic about is the fact that they announced a brand new Mario Strikers game for the first time in, I believe, 10 years. 10 years since they started a new Mario Strikers game. The last one was on the Wii. They completely skipped the Wii U, and the the Switch apparently being on its half point in life, they decided now is the time to release a new Mario Strikers. It has, from what I see, a bit more of a fleshed out online play and mechanics that I question how much will actually affect the game. But besides Mario Kart, which is at least for now until they start bringing in the new stages, it's just a remake of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii. Oh, not a remake, a port. A direct port. With the DLC from the Wii U game being ported onto Switch. But now it's going to have its own identity by having these new stages. Well, old new stages that weren't on the Wii U version originally. So when those start coming, then I can consider it its own game. And it's funny because people were really thinking they were going to reveal Mario Kart 9 in the game, which is what I mentioned last stream. Like, I was hearing rumors of people wanting a new Mario Kart game, Mario Kart 9, but instead they revealed new tracks, well, new additional tracks for the game, equivalent to an entire game, 48 tracks. So, that's something. And, yeah, I'm cautious about the new Mario Strikers because besides Mario Kart, every other sports Mario game that they've released on the Switch, be it golf or tennis, has not been good. Mario Tennis Aces was not good, and Mario Golf Super Rush is jokingly called, because people really don't like it, they jokingly call it Mario Golf Super Rushed because it felt like a rushed product. So here's hoping that they take their time and make the new Mario Strikers game worth the money. I'm personally not pre-ordering the game because I didn't pre-order either of the other sports games, and I've seen gameplay streams of the game and how much of a dumpster fire the two other sports games are, tennis and golf. Like they completely missed the mark of what made those games what they were. Why people enjoyed those games. And it made me sad to see that. But I'm hoping, really hoping, that they hit it out of the park with this new sports game that they're bringing in. This new addition to a series that has been silent for about 10 years. The archives are right through this door, but it seems to be locked. I guess we'll just have to go and find whoever has the keys. Growing way, enough. If you have naught else to tell us of the final days, you need only say so. We can ill afford to be wasting time here, as you well know. Did you yourselves not tell us that we must act quickly? Yes, we did, but the moon was to be a perfect paradise for the people of Atheris, who are running out of time to make everything ready for their arrival. We'd hoped you'd see the wonders we have to offer, but you found nothing but faults and flaws in our work. Only one of you saw our potential, so you others must be kept here. Ah, so that's Living Waste game. Run us about in circles, and failing that, lock us away so we can't put the plan at risk. Everyone except Urianger. He understands what's at stake. What must be done. I fear you've misjudged us, Growing Way. Never have we decried the notion of using the moon as a means of escape. That said, my heart breaks at the thought of abandoning Theris and her reflections to their doom. If there is a way to avert the final days, I wish to find it. We all do. We may fail, but our efforts would never be at the expense of your plans. But why would you take that risk? There's no room for ifs and maybes now. The people of Atheris will escape here to the moon. They'll be safe, and we'll finally get to see all their happy, smiling faces. I'm sorry, but we can't let you leave. We just can't. Do what you must, but try not to hurt them. I'll be back in a moment. Don't do anything rash while I'm gone. If we dally, they'll overwhelm us with sheer numbers. I say we knock these ones, split up, and make our way to the exit. Agreed. Let us reconvene where Argos awaits outside. Looks like I gotta bonk some rabbits. I'll hit them with the blunt end of my sword. Let's just say that. This is all blunt. I am not hitting them with the tip. They are fine. Everything is okay. Nothing to worry about. As you see, there's not any sort of stabbing. Everything is just fine. They actually don't mind it, really. I'm just hitting them with the side of my sword. The side of my sword. The side of my sword. And nothing else. Don't you agree? Anyway. Just the side. Just the side. Cut. I'm not getting stabbed. Just hitting you with the blunt end. Okay. Don't you agree? He's fine. He's just fine. He just faded away to take a rest. Everything is fine. So, let us go and find Argos. Argos should be through that door over there. Let me just mount on my horse, Arion. My six-legged horse. I'm not kidding. 6 legs. Check that out. How many horses you know got 6 legs? And a wing. Oh. I'll match swiftness because it's got 6 legs. There you are. Didn't rough them up too badly, did you? You guys just ditched me. Good, you're here. We must hurry to the Watcher's Palace and find Urianger.
And what, pray tell, do we seek at the Watcher's Palace?
Oh, come off it, friend. You know full well why we're here. The time has come for you to return to Atheris and help your brethren prepare for their journey here and beyond.
Forgive me, Living Way, but I cannot in good conscience proceed with this plan.
Huh? But what about the final days? The death and the doom? Oh, we have to hurry before it's too late!
Your unflagging commitment to your duty is endearing, to say the least.
Oh, bugger!
Be at ease. They bear you no grudge, nor do I. How could we, having come to understand your purpose? For millennia, you and yours worked tirelessly towards the singular purpose of this heavenly vessel's construction. An arduous feat by any measure. 'Tis clear you have spared no effort. Why, your very names are a testament to your dedication.
Our names? I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at.
Names are an expression of the self, a declaration of one's hopes and aspirations. Your use of contemporary, uncomplicated nomenclature doth ensure clarity of purpose. There can be no doubt that your love for the people of Aetheris is boundless and pure.
Yes! Yes! A most mellifluous phrasing! We Loporrits were born of Hydaelyn's love for Aetheris. That shining, shimmering blue jewel, brightest star in the sky, brimming with life and possibilities. For as long as I can remember, I've toiled in anticipation of the day when this vessel might be needed. All I've ever wanted was to meet those she cherished so dearly, to serve and serve well. That goes for all of us, don't you see? So help us. Help us help them. Lead them here where we can keep them safe. If there's anything wrong with what we've built, we'll fix it. We'll make it right.
Your works want not for repair. Yet there remaineth much for you to learn of men, and your own kin besides. Singing Way, thy name bespeaketh more than the simple marriage of rhythm and rhyme. The songs of Aetheris are beyond counting, and span the length and breadth of emotion. Maps are monuments to man's pioneering spirit, and his devotion to charting the furthest reaches of our star. Many have devoted their lifetimes to exploratory pursuits, to venture unto the highest mountains and the deepest oceans in search of unknown frontiers. And thou, my friend, I do not think we've met.
My name is Puddingway.
Puddingway? Yes, indeed. A name of deep and abiding significance, I'm sure, but one perhaps better communicated through delicious deeds than tasteless words. A judicious application of fey magics at a later juncture may be appropriate. And Living Way. 'Tis no easy feat to convey the significance of thy moniker. When I was a bookish boy, a dear friend of mine was fond of peppering me with questions as I read, to my occasional annoyance. One day, I posed to her a question of mine own. What doth it mean to live? After much contemplation, she proffered this answer. The anticipation of a half-read story's conclusion. The hope today's mistake may serve as tomorrow's lesson. The wish that a new acquaintance may one day call thee friend. She believed it to be all these moments and more.
I want to understand, but...
I, too, still labor to find mine own answer. 'Twould be my pleasure to assist you and yours in embarking on a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. For thee. Ink as blue as the waters of Aetheris. Made in haste, though I assure thee, the quality has not suffered for it. The people need not be persuaded by honeyed words. Nay, I have faith they shall do what is right in due course. Until they do, I beg your patience, friends. And with that ink, let us fill the empty pages of Living Way's compendium. An open exchange of ideas will surely afford you all a better understanding of modern man, and with it, ideas for improvements and renovations. But more importantly, it shall empower us to together find a way forward.
I hope you're right. Thank you for this lovely gift.
There you have it. I shall remain with the Loporrits to ensure that all is in order. Though we must needs prepare for every eventuality, you would all agree that the evacuation of our star is a last resort. To accept failure is to accept the demise not only of our star, but that of Reen's, of all reflections, and the souls that call them home. Which is why I have every faith that you shall fight to the last, that such drastic measures may prove unnecessary.
Should the worst come to the worst, and I pray deeply that it won't, I'll take comfort in knowing preparations were made under your watchful eye.
Aye, thou mayest be assured that if calamity cometh, not a soul will be left behind, if being the operative term.
That flower, how came it into your possession? How very like her. Guided by its light, you may have come to know her true intentions, intentions which remain a mystery even to us. In our time, we called it Elpis. You would do well to remember that name.
I hate to interrupt, but I feel like I need to make amends for all the secrecy.
Think nothing of it. We haven't been the most gracious of guests. Do convey our apologies to Growing Way and the others.
To beat his butt. It's now sore.
But of course! And when next we welcome more guests from Aetheris, we'll have learned to be much more hospitable hosts. Oh, and circling back to the matter of inappropriate secrecy, we ought to discuss our benefactors.
Agreed. The Charlayan Forum, yes?
What? How did you know?
The more I heard, the more obvious it became. The Forum's aims align closely with those of your anonymous patrons. A telling coincidence would be an understatement. Though had we not taken it upon ourselves to peruse certain restricted tones in Labyrinthos, we might still be unaware of their plans. But let us continue this discussion upon our return. I dare say we have kept Alphino and the others waiting long enough.
I chanced to spy you crossing the chasm, and I feared something was amiss. But all is well, and more importantly, I have been given the opportunity to behold a wonderful sight. Keep the Alpis close, and its light will be your guide. 'Twas a relief to see Livingway as pleased with my gift of ink. To serve and serve well, though their knowledge may be lacking, their boundless love is a blessing without peer. It will be no easy task to prepare them for what must needs be done, but gladly do I embrace this duty, even if it doth necessitate that we part ways for a time. Forgive me my absence, for I have the utmost faith in you, in all our fellow sons. When next I return to Atheris, I pray I find you all in good health and good spirits. Nice to meet you. Name's Puddingway. Sorry again for all the trouble. We promise we'll do better. Honest. With the Loprits and Uriange's capable hands, we needn't worry about affairs here in our absence. Knowing now the face of their earthly collaborators, there is much to discuss with Alphanode and the others. Let us return to the Tower of Babel. Our battle for the star will soon begin in earnest, and we must be prepared. There is little I can do to help stop the final days, but should you need to traverse the stars, look no further. Such knowledge I can offer in abundance, so do not hesitate if you find yourself in need. Well, it was nice being on the moon all for the past few episodes. I think it's time we head back down. Okay, Sneaker, you wanna go up? Keep your hands popping out like that. I don't care if you in front of me ever. Sewer water? Where the heck are you getting sewer water from on a moon? There's no sewers here. Now you got me annoyed making up these lie attacks. Nope. I'm not having it. Look at you, you phony. Now you're dead. Into the nether gate we go. And here we are back on Atheris. I'd forgotten how cold it was here in Garlemald, a testament to the Loprit's ingenuity that I felt no such discomfort on the moon. Gods, I can scarcely believe that we went to the moon and back. But we'll have time to reflect on that later. Right now, we need to head back to Camp Broken Glass and deliver a thoroughly detailed report to Lucia. I'd like very much to know how everyone is getting on here as well. They'd only just begun to treat the tempered prisoners when we left. I share your curiosity, but warning our allies of the final days is of greater importance. I speak not only of the contingent, of course. The heads of state of every nation must know that what we have learned. We know not or when or where or in what manner the final days will begin to manifest, and so we must see to it that everyone is prepared. Agreed, though we may wish to stress the importance of discretion, lest the public be sent into a panic. Not that anyone in a position of responsibility should need be told as much, but it bears repeating. Anyway, first things first, to Camp Broken Glass. Exit to Garlemald. Where to go? Where to go? Actually, let's just open up my map. Is there anything I'm unattuned to here? No, I'm attuned to everything. No way in hell am I going to walk that entire distance again. The game forced me to do it way too many times. It's good to see you all again. No worse for your lunar adventure, I hope. We've done what we can for now, and believe me, we intend to tell you all about it. But before we do, why don't you tell us what's become of Garlemald in our absence? We succeeded in subduing the Tempered inside the Tower of Babel. We took many alive, but combined with those who were already in our custody, the number requiring care has grown exponentially. The inclement conditions here have made it difficult, if not impossible, to treat them all here, and so we have petitioned the aid of the allied nations. Some are understandably hesitant to proffer assistance, particularly those that were but recently subjected to the imperial occupation, Doma and Alamigo. That said, several others have agreed to grant them refuge for treatment in Basra. With the assistance of your fellow scions, we endeavor to see them safely transported and subsequently cured of their tempering. Will all the tempered be relocated? No, not at all. We have sufficient shelter to attend those whose treatment has begun, and enough healers to have volunteered to remain until their patients have recovered. Ulysses is one such patient, though he is not yet fit to receive visitors. Truth be told, was a miracle he and those in his company were not harmed in the chaos. If not for Alphanode and Alize's timely assistance, I dare say none of them would be with us today. In light of recent developments, have the Alliance leaders come to any decisions regarding Garlemald? Given the tremendous ramifications of what has happened here, it will take time to determine what must be done. In the meantime, they intend to work with the Eastern Alliance to keep close watch over the provinces. We have other news to share. Shortly after Anima was defeated, we received reports that each and every tower has vanished. For our mercy, the process was apparently not quite as violent as that you experienced in Thavner. Those who were trapped within them have been rescued and are receiving treatment. To hasten this endeavor, the beast tribes have received instructions to the magics needed to cure the tempering. Master Matoya is no doubt thrilled the Mother Porksy affords her so many visitors. Yes, we are grateful for her ongoing efforts, as well as those of our comrades near and far. As for the contingent, several of our members have granted leave to return to their homelands after the transfer of Tempered have been completed. Lucia and I will remain, along with a small force to continue offering aid to those here in Garlemald. The Empire may be no more, but there are yet those who call these lands home. I believe that accounts for recent events here. So, what of the moon and the Tlofferoi? Burger, cheese, bald, bing bong, bing bang. Bingus big floppa fluff ball. indescribable events and incoherent words. The final days, gods, I pray your victory would mark the end of our troubles. There is still much we do not know, but the Alliance leaders must be told. Would you be willing to contact them in our stead? Yes, of course. I will send word forthwith. We will also release your fellow Signs from their present duties, that they may return to Charlian. Your energies are better spent finding a means to avert the coming apocalypse. Speaking of your fellow Scions, you will be happy to hear that Mistress Crowl, though still on the mend, has been moved to the Baldessian Annex and given into Tataru's care. Thank you. I look forward to seeing them both upon our return. Let us be on our way then. One last thing, if I may. After your confrontation with Zodiac, you said Xenos took his leave, and in all likelihood he has returned here to Garlemald. I have a mind to dispatch scouts to try to ascertain his whereabouts, but first wish to ask if you believe there is merit in doing so. If you're expecting a trail of destruction to follow, you won't find one. Aye, you're the only foe he considers worthy. And even if my men found him, who but you could even hope to bring low that monster? Pray forget I entertained the notion. While on the subject of Xenos, the 10th Legion has made an official proclamation. They denounce the Crown Prince and condemn his role in the Empire's downfall. His very title has become a source of shame among his former subjects, and its continued use serves only to hinder relations with foreign nations. For this reason, he has been declared as Xenos Viator Galvus, outcast and enemy of Garlemald. Van Daniel is no more, and now his own people turn against him. It seems not but his bloodlust to keep him company. Better that than an army to see it sated. At any rate, I will not keep you longer. I pray you safe passage back to Charlene. It's about time we head back to Charlene. Way too long. Welcome back, Lorelei. We were so terribly worried about you. Though it is plain I have caused my own fair share of worry, and for that I apologize. Hygelin called out to me that day when you entered the Tower of Babel. Her pleas were faint but desperate, and I knew that at once she required a vessel to carry out her will. What came after feels like a dream, barely remembered, my body flowing through the life stream towards Garlemald. When I regained consciousness, I was all eggs and frostbite, exhausted of ether. So exhausted, in fact, I could only laugh, for it was in that moment I understood Raha's weariness from the Tower of Zot. Would that I could laugh at a time like this. Though we have prevented Zodiac from being unleashed upon the world, I'm curious to know what else took place there on the moon. Perhaps we should wait for the others to join us before you give your account. Let us reconvene in the main hall once they've arrived. Oh, it's good to see you. And free from chilblains, I take it. You'll be pleased to know everything's been kept in order since you've been away. I've even brought a few knickknacks useful with me back from home. But no sooner had they arrived than I received word from Cryo in poor health. And you on the moon! If you meant to give me a fright, you succeeded. What, you never been on the moon? Man, chump game you got going on there. I'm going to the moon and beyond. Moon is just the first step. Get on my game. Sorry to have kept you all waiting. Not at all. We understand you've been busy. Will Uyanje be joining us? Duty keeps him away, I'm afraid, though Lorelei can explain why better than I. The final days, as befell Amarot. And we are to escape via the moon. What of the source and its reflections? I have no intention of standing by while the world falls to ruin. So, how do we stop this? Unfortunately, we have no answers at present. If the celestial currents have grown stagnant, as was the case in the time of Amarot, the solution would be to alter the flow of ether throughout the entirety of the star. The ancients accomplished this by summoning Zodiac, sacrificing half the star's population in the doing. But it should go without saying that such sacrifice cannot be repeated. Which leaves us with the daunting task of identifying what the underlying catalyst are the final days, a feat which even the Amarotines could not accomplish. Unfortunately, we have found no clues in Mare Lamentorum. There is still much we do not know about the catastrophe itself, let alone what may have caused it. The final days were marked by the corruption of the Amarotines' creation magics, but we command no such power, which invites the question, what havoc is in store for us? If we knew that much, perhaps we could draw some parallel with the events of the past, and thereby for some semblance of a plan. Perhaps we should start with the Forum then. Having worked with the Loperates in secret all this time, there is surely more they can tell us. Forgive the interruption, but I've urgent news. The Forum is holding a public assembly in the plaza outside. Some sort of announcement. What is Father up to now? There's only one way to find out.
Order! Order, I say! I thank you all for gathering here on such short notice. This day we must speak of grave affairs and their implications for the future of Sharlayan, nay, of this very star. Said affairs concern all citizens, and so we have called for a public assembly. You may have heard rumors of the Talopheroi and the havoc these madmen wreak abroad. Under normal circumstances, we would pay little heed to petty disturbances outside our borders. The final days, however, are another matter altogether. For we dare not ignore these prophetic words of Eld. The Endbearers will come, ushering chaos and calamity. The final days descend and devour the very star.
I've never heard this prophecy.
Is it true? Will all that really happen?
Calm yourselves. The time has come to speak of the Forum's most sacred duties. But first...
Give voice to the voiceless. Let bindings be unbound. By unanimous decree, I declare the enchantment broken.
Master Leveilleur, if you would.
Very well. "270 years ago, our forebears began an expedition in the Dravanian hinterlands, in search of a route to access the ethereal sea. This much is public knowledge. Their findings, however, would become the Forum's most closely guarded secret. What those researchers discovered in the hinterlands was not a passage unto the ethereal sea, but the very heart of our star, and Hydaelyn herself. She spoke to them of a calamity that would extinguish all life, and of a means by which we might be spared. The moon. 'Tis in truth a gargantuan vessel built to serve as sanctuary for her children, and deliver them from this doom. Much like Nunkref's hope in ages past, it will bear the people of a world in the throes of death to a new home.
Needless to say, this will be no small undertaking. To facilitate the great work, the Forum has maintained close contact with the servants of Hydaelyn, who presently reside on the moon. Convinced that the foretold end was all but inevitable, we began amassing a wealth of knowledge. Not merely for the betterment of our nation, but in preparation for the journey to come.
You reveal this to us now? By the gods, how long do we have?
While we cannot say with certainty, we believe the hour to be nigh. We received a transmission from the moon suggesting as much not long ago. Which is why we must in earnest begin preparations for the Great Exodus. For his impressive contributions and the leadership he demonstrated during our withdrawal from Dravania, we have elected Master Leveilleur to oversee this initiative.
Fellow scribes and scholars, my countrymen, we face a threat of unprecedented scale. We must challenge the trials before us with composure and conviction if we are to find salvation. The wisdom of Sharlayan has ever been a shining beacon in the darkness, and so it shall continue to be. It is our solemn charge to see our heritage preserved for future generations. For those who will come after, we will brave a new frontier.
Administrative edicts will be relayed to all major institutions ere long. In the meantime, carry on with your duties. With that, I hereby call this assembly to a close.
Do you remember what Mother told us when we visited home? That it wasn't until after we were born that Father seemed to lose himself in his work. If that great work of his was the evacuation of this star, then...
Yes. It wasn't for his benefit. Would you mind waiting here a moment? I wish to speak with Father before we leave. Thank you. I shan't be long.
If it's all the same to you, I have a few choice words to share with Father as well.
So, come to call us cowards and bid us join your fruitless battle against the inevitable.
Nay, we do not object to the Forum's proposal. On the contrary, those who wish to flee have every right to do so. Urianger is cooperating with your associates on the moon to ensure that all is ready should evacuation be our only recourse.
Then whatever your business, I suggest you be brief.
Though we cannot boast the boundless wisdom of Charlian, we have first-hand knowledge of foreign cultures, and have conversed with no small number of peoples. These experiences have taught us fundamental truths that cannot be recorded in any tome, nor charted on any map. The beating heart of this planet is its people, many of whom would give anything, even their lives, to protect the lands they love. Many may choose to join you in the end. But what of those unwilling or unable, for whom escape will never be an option? What would you have them do? To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, Father. It is indolence. This is why we choose to fight.
We'll not ask for your understanding, Father. Only that you don't turn a blind eye to the good we have done. That we can still do. We're not children in need of protection. Hold fast to your principles and let the world burn if it please. But we believe there is still another way. And if there is, we will find it. You see if we don't.
Do as you will. Just stay out of our way.
Were he not so consumed with self-righteousness, he might tell you how proud he is of you both.
Bold words call for bold action. And there'll be no turning to your father should plans go awry.
As if I ever would. So long as there are those who wish to stay and fight for this star, we have to do what we can to help them.
And if we're to do that, we'll need to be well rested. Wouldn't you agree? And having triumphed over what we once thought to be the source of all evil, I can think of no one in greater need of at least a dozen winks.
Shall we then? To the Annex, to prepare for tomorrow.
So now we know the plans of Charlene, what they want to do, and what we can do. We're gonna try and do a dual, like a dual efforts, trying to have both options laid out, have the means of escape for people who want to escape, and have a means to fight back and stop this tragedy for people who can't get to the moon for whatever reason. Crowd tells me the Forum made a rather momentous announcement. So there is to be a great exodus, is there? I'm reminded of my narrow escape from the Isles of Vale. The realization, the running, the mixture of relief and regret after. Why me, I ask myself. Why me? Why us? Why now? Why wonder? Why are you using Apple? Use Windows 11. Use Windows XP. Use Windows Vista. Why are you on Apple? Don't think I don't see that iPhone there in your hand. Give me your phone. Your phone privileges are revoked. Oh, but enough of my rambling. I'm sure you're exhausted. Your chamber awaits.
Oh, apologies. I didn't mean to... If you could spare a moment before bed. Thank you. I fear this may be the last quiet night we have to talk for quite some time. I am troubled of late. Unwarranted concerns, perhaps. I hope. Nevertheless, I feel compelled to share them with you. Though you have bested your enemies thus far, Xenos and even Zodiac, your victories have come at a considerable cost to yourself. No one is without their limits, and you are no exception. I worry the added weight of the final days will prove more than you can bear. It is surely too much for any one woman. But you needn't bear it alone. Let me share your burden. My, carrying capacity pales in comparison to yours, but I could still help. Shoulder the occasional satchel from your ever-growing mountain of, baggage. You have already done so much to help relieve me of mine own encumbrances. 'Tis only fair that I repay you in kind. Of course, it needn't be only troubles we share. Moments of joy may seem few and far between now, but there will come a time when we look back fondly on this journey. The inquiry at the Forum, our march through the snows of Garlemald, our impromptu dinner in this very room. All of it. And that is to say nothing of the journeys yet to come. To the ends of the world and beyond. But tomorrow will be no less busy than today, and I've kept you from your rest long enough. Sleep well, my friend.
Thank the gods that tower is gone. The sight of it was enough to make me sick.
Thank the Ilsabar contingent, more like. Word is, they fought their way into Garlemald and toppled the bloody thing themselves. Not just the one, neither. All the towers have up and vanished.
Aye, I heard the same. Commander Aldin and his troops helped keep casualties to a minimum, too. But is it true? They brought back tempered Garlean soldiers.
As Commander Aldin tells it, they've a treatment for that now. But don't you worry. Cured or not, they've no plans to bring them into the city proper.
I see. Well, that's a relief then. I know we've brothers and sisters among the lot, but I can't say I'm eager to welcome them home.
Won't need to think about it for a while yet. They're to be looked after in Alagana for the time being.
Another day, another commission of paramount importance. Well, what have we here? Hey, are you all right? Was that? No. The shadows play tricks, nothing more. The towers are gone, and the Garlean threat is abated. And yet, why does it feel as though it's about to get much, much worse?
And with that, we'll be ending today's stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, be sure to hit me up with a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave me a like. If you dislike it, dislike it. Even if you may not see it, I do, and it helps me to improve. Tomorrow, we'll be back with Monster Hunter Rise and continuing the HR grind. So, you have been Chat. I've been Mito. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you guys have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.